Hello, this is Jim Breen with Advanced Trading Technologies. I put together this video for new users to just show you through the basics. I know some people don't like to read the user manuals, and so this is designed to just kind of get you up to speed as quickly as possible. This video should take about 15 minutes. You can certainly review it multiple times until you get it. I realize that as a brand new user, everything is brand new to you, and so it's a lot to absorb. So it's sometimes easier just to see it visually. There's a few things that we need to do on a daily basis, and one is to update the software if we're going to be trading the next day. Now, we don't trade necessarily every day, and for that reason, I'm going to show you, first of all, you click on a chart, left click on it just to activate it, and then right click on the chart and click Format and select Format Strategies. In here, you put the numbers in as we give them to you, with two exceptions. It depends on the number of contracts you're trading. We always send inputs out based on trading two contracts. So if you're going to just trade one contract, you have to divide the number we give you for max daily loss in half. So normally this would be set for 2, and normally this would be a higher number. It might be, let's say it's $800 on the last time that we gave you numbers. So if you're going to trade only one contract, you set this for 1, and you would divide this number in half from 800 to 400. Or if it happened to be $1,000, you would divide it in half, and you'd end up with $500 as a max daily loss. Now, while I'm on this subject of the max daily loss and the number of contracts you're going to be trading, it all depends on your two things. Number one, your account balance, and also your risk tolerance. If you have more money in your account and you trade fewer number of contracts, you're going to end up with less volatility in terms of your account balance swinging up and down. You'll make less money typically with a larger balance in your account in relation to the number of contracts you're trading, but you'll also have less volatility in your account balance. Most aggressive clients that I have trade one contract for every $5,000 to start out with. That's an aggressive approach. However, historically, over the last 4 years, the most we've ever had a drawdown or a loss of any point in time is about 40% maximum, and that's even after 2 months of losing money, or having 2 months in a row lose money. Inevitably, we historically have always bounced back from those lows. More often than not, we get down to about 25 to 30%, and then we see a turnaround where we have a profitable day that wipes out a good portion of those losses. The most important thing, I think, to pass on to people that are new is, in my opinion, it's especially critical to use the software on a consistent basis. And because if you don't, what happens is you end up not trading on a day that ends up being profitable. And it's those big profitable days that we occasionally get that makes all the difference in how much money you end up making at the end of the year. Because we have oftentimes just a handful of days a year where we make really exceptional amounts of money. And if you miss out on those days, it makes a huge difference in what you're going to end up with. So that's my point of view on trading. And if you try to duck in and out and second guess what days to trade, I guarantee you'll be wrong more than you're going to be right. So anyway, let's get back to the information here. The number of contracts, like I said, that we send out is always set for 2, and this number here relates to that number of contracts. The no trades before the time we start is set as a variable, and that'll change on a day-to-day basis. And you'll often see numbers that don't make any sense, like 980. Well, that means it's really going to trade close to 10 o'clock, but just put the number in as we give it to you, regardless of whether it doesn't make any sense or not. Inputs 1 through 5 change on a daily basis, and so you can expect those that always need to be updated. Once you've put in the new numbers, you click OK, and then you select this here to automate the software. And if this is set to on, that means it's going to not make the trade unless you sit there and approve it. If you select it to off, that means that now the software will trade without your involvement, and then you would click close. Now the software is ready to trade the next day going forward without any intervention from you. The important thing to understand is at the end of the trading day, there's a good chance we may not trade this particular chart the next day. It's important at the end of each trading day to go back and unselect automated trading by unselecting this right here. If you've done that, that'll prevent the software from trading the next day when you did not intend it to. Now, if you decide that you need to close down TradeStation for some reason, and this has already been checked and ready to trade, and you close down TradeStation, well, first of all, we're going to save all workspaces as before you do anything. Always, after you've made any changes to your chart, on the file menu, you always save all workspaces. Then if you have to close down TradeStation by closing it down here with the red check mark in the upper right corner, or if something were to happen where TradeStation got shut down because of a computer crash or some other event like Windows updated and wanted to reboot your computer, normally you get this warning that this is strategies activated and it wants your permission to close down the TradeStation platform. You click OK. Now, when you reopen, well, before we do that, I'm going to bring up one other topic just because it's convenient to do so. There are some data files that are stored on your computer that tend to get corrupted from time to time. And those corrupted data files will definitely impact how your software performs. And so what I recommend you do is you clean out that file on a weekly basis. And I'm going to show you, this is Windows 10. So we go to File Explorer. We go to our C drive. So even if you're using Windows 7 or something, you can still just locate your C drive and click on the Programs file 86. Go to TradeStation, which in this case I'm using 9.5, and then you select Program. And this is the cache file. This is the data that is stored for your chart to use, and it gets corrupted from time to time. I can't tell you why, but I know it does. So on a weekly basis, I just recommend that you delete this by right-clicking on that cache file and select delete. All right? And if you just do that once a week, every weekend, that's a good time to do it. That's how you can avoid having some technical issues that we hope that you don't have to experience. So, reopening TradeStation. I'm doing this in simulated mode, but the end result is the same. It'll prompt you, because we saved that that chart to be automated. It's now asking, do you want to open with what items enabled? Items enabled means that the strategy is active for trading. If you had selected no to that question, then this would have been unchecked. Okay? So that's the difference between opening it with or without items enabled. Another thing that can happen from a technical point of view is you could lose internet. And if you do lose internet for any significant time period, and I'm talking about maybe more than 15 minutes or so, this data down here will be red. And that means you've gotten disconnected. And well, now I'm gotten hung up. Okay. That's what it looks like when you're trading offline, or in other words, you're not connected to the TradeStation platform, is that this area down here is red. So if you've got internet restored, you can double click on one of those red things there and hopefully get logged back on. Well, it looks like I'm having trouble with my password here. Finally got it right. And so once you get reconnected, then this is green again down here. So I want to clarify one thing. This is so important that new users will goof up. At the end of each day, make sure that you unselect automated trading on any chart that you traded and then click OK. The reason is, if we're not going to trade this particular chart, it may be 2 or 3 days before we trade it again. The last thing you want to have happen is to have this chart being traded without your intending it to. So that's why that's important. Another thing you need to do, or should do, on a daily basis, each time you're going to, before trading starts, is left click on the chart and using the control key on your keyboard, control and then the letter R. What that does is that refreshes your chart to make sure that the data coming in is fresh. And that tends to help eliminate issues. So those are the most important things that I wanted to pass on. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to use the software on a consistent basis, and I do almost insist that you read the user manual, because when I create these videos, sometimes I leave something important out, and I don't want you to miss out on something like that. So please do read the user manual carefully, review it a couple of times if you have to, until everything sinks in. After you've done this for several days or a week, most of this stuff is all so routine you won't even have to think about it twice. Anyway, that concludes this video. I hope it's been helpful, and good luck to your trading.